November 6th, Cherry Lane Theater, down in the Village. My first stomping grounds when I first started being a comedian. I started down there. You know, the gay audience is my best. They were great. They laughed at everything. They got it.
Why did they get
were
you?
Supportive. Why did they get me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
They just got you.
They did.
Joy Behar has built a reputation for her outspoken personality and unfiltered opinions, often making headlines for her bold takes on The View. However, one particular remark about Karoline Leavitt quickly turned into a full-blown controversy, leading to unexpected consequences. During a heated discussion on the show, Behar made a comment that many perceived as dismissive and unprofessional, implying that Leavitt's career achievements were not based on her skills or qualifications, but rather on superficial factors. The statement immediately sparked reactions in the studio. Gasps could be heard from the audience, and even Behar's co-hosts, who are used to her blunt style, seemed taken aback by her words. What may have initially been intended as a passing remark quickly became the center of attention, both in the studio and online. Within minutes, clips of the moment began circulating on social media, fueling a wave of criticism against Behar. Viewers and critics alike took to social media platforms to express their outrage, calling out what they saw as hypocrisy. Many pointed out that Behar has long presented herself as a strong advocate for fairness and empowerment, yet her comment appeared to undermine another woman's professional journey. The backlash grew rapidly, with people accusing her of reducing someone's accomplishments to external factors rather than merit and capability. As the controversy escalated, it became clear that this was not going to be a simple case of media backlash blowing over. Discussions about professionalism, workplace respect, and media accountability took center stage, putting The View and ABC in a difficult position. What started as a single offhand remark had now spiraled into a much larger debate, one that would ultimately have major consequences for Behar's future on the show. Joy Behar's comment about Karoline Leavitt did not go unnoticed. As soon as the words left her mouth, there was an almost immediate shift in the atmosphere of The View's studio. Some members of the audience let out audible gasps, while others exchanged shocked glances. Even her fellow co-hosts, who are no strangers to Behar's unfiltered style, seemed momentarily taken aback. It was clear that this was not just another offhand remark. It was something that would spark controversy beyond the walls of the studio. Within minutes, clips of the moment spread across social media, fueling outrage from viewers who felt the comment was out of line. The criticism came from all directions, with many arguing that Behar had crossed the line by publicly diminishing another professional's achievements. Users on platforms like Twitter and Instagram voiced their disappointment, pointing out the irony of someone who has long positioned herself as a supporter of fairness and professionalism, making such a dismissive remark. What made matters worse was the timing. The View has often found itself at the center of public scrutiny, and this latest controversy only added fuel to the fire. As the backlash intensified, hashtags calling for Behar's removal began trending, and the show's producers found themselves in damage control mode. Behar, known for her confidence in handling criticism, initially dismissed the outrage. However, the situation soon became impossible to ignore as media outlets picked up the story, and industry insiders began speculating about how ABC would respond. What started as a single controversial comment had now transformed into a full-scale crisis, one that would ultimately force the network to make a difficult decision about Behar's future on the show. What started as a typical day on The View quickly spiraled into one of the most controversial moments in Joy Behar's career. During a discussion that was supposed to be routine, Behar made a remark about Karoline Leavitt that instantly struck a nerve with both the audience and her co-hosts. It wasn't just the words she used, it was the tone, the implication, and the dismissive nature of the comment that set off a chain reaction. In the studio, the reaction was immediate. Gasps rippled through the audience, and for a brief moment, there was an uneasy silence. The co-hosts, who are usually quick to back each other up or steer the conversation, hesitated, seemingly unsure of how to respond. The tension was thick, and the atmosphere in the studio shifted dramatically. But the real explosion happened online. Within minutes, social media erupted with clips of the moment, spreading like wildfire across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. People from all sides weighed in, criticizing Behar for what they saw as an unprofessional and degrading comment. Some longtime viewers of The View expressed disappointment, stating that they had once admired Behar's outspoken nature, but felt she had crossed the line this time. Others accused her of hypocrisy, highlighting past instances where she had spoken out against the very kind of behavior she was now displaying. Major media outlets quickly picked up the story, turning what could have been a minor controversy into a full-blown crisis. Calls for accountability grew louder, and ABC found itself in a difficult position. The network had stood by Behar through past controversies, but this time, the backlash was different. The pressure was mounting, and it became clear that something had to give, setting the stage for what would become one of the most shocking exits in The View's history. What began as an offhand remark quickly escalated into a full-blown crisis that neither Joy Behar nor ABC could ignore. The backlash was relentless, with social media users, media outlets, and even former fans of The View demanding accountability. The controversy wasn't just about a single comment. It became a larger conversation about professionalism, respect, and the expectations placed on television personalities with influential platforms. As the criticism mounted, ABC found itself facing a difficult decision. Behar had been a central figure on The View for years, known for her outspoken nature and bold opinions. However, this time, the network's usual approach of waiting for the storm to pass wasn't working. The controversy showed no signs of fading, and each day brought more headlines questioning whether ABC would take action. Behind the scenes, discussions were reportedly tense. Some ABC executives felt that Behar had finally crossed a line that couldn't be ignored. Others worried about the optics of letting go of one of their most recognizable hosts under pressure from public opinion. There was also the question of how her co-hosts felt. While some had remained silent, others appeared visibly uncomfortable in the days following the incident.
Despite Behar's long-standing presence on The View, the controversy became too big to contain. ABC had to act. Rumors swirled about potential disciplinary actions, but ultimately, the decision was made. Joy Behar would be leaving the show. The official statement from ABC was carefully worded, stating that Behar had decided to step away. However, few believed this was a voluntary departure. The timing was too convenient. An insider suggested that the decision had been made for her. In an unexpected moment, a chapter of The View's history had come to a dramatic close, leaving fans and critics alike wondering what would come next.
As pressure mounted and speculation swirled about her fate, Joy Behar's departure from The View took an even more dramatic turn. Rather than issuing a public apology or addressing the growing controversy, Behar chose to make a statement in her own way by walking off the set. In what would be her final appearance on the show, tensions were already high. The atmosphere in the studio was different, almost uneasy. The controversy surrounding her remarks had taken center stage in media discussions, and ABC had yet to make an official announcement about her future. Viewers tuned in, wondering if Behar would address the situation or double down on her stance. As the episode unfolded, it became clear that Behar was not backing down. When the topic of accountability came up, she grew visibly frustrated, her usual sharp wit replaced with an air of defiance. Her co-host, usually supportive or at least willing to debate, seemed unsure how to engage. Then, in a moment that shocked both the live audience and viewers at home, Behar abruptly stood up, removed her mic, and walked off the stage. Gasps filled the studio as her co-hosts exchanged nervous glances. The cameras cut to an awkward silence before producers quickly shifted to a commercial break. By the time the show returned, Behar was gone. The walk-off instantly became headline news, with clips spreading rapidly across social media. Many speculated that this was her way of making a statement, refusing to let ABC control the narrative of her exit. Others saw it as a dramatic farewell, an act of frustration in the face of overwhelming backlash. Regardless of the interpretation, one thing was certain. Joy Behar's time on The View had ended in the most unforgettable way possible. The controversy, the walk-off, and the uncertain future of the show left audiences with more questions than answers. In the wake of Joy Behar's dramatic exit from The View, ABC was left scrambling to control the fallout. The network had dealt with controversies before, but this time, the backlash wasn't fading. It was growing louder by the day. Fans, critics, and media outlets all demanded answers, pushing ABC to make a definitive move. Behind closed doors, executives faced a tough dilemma. Behar had been a staple of The View for years, bringing in high ratings and keeping the show in the headlines. However, the controversy surrounding her latest remarks had turned into a public relations nightmare. If ABC chose to stand by her, they risked alienating viewers and damaging the show's reputation. On the other hand, if they let her go, they faced accusations of caving under pressure and losing one of their most recognizable hosts. According to insiders, emergency meetings were held to discuss possible options. Some suggested issuing a formal statement of apology on Behar's behalf, while others pushed for a temporary suspension to let the controversy die down. However, as the situation escalated and sponsors reportedly began expressing concerns, it became clear that a stronger response was needed. ABC finally broke its silence with an official statement, carefully worded to avoid controversy. They announced that Joy Behar had decided to step away from The View, thanking her for her contributions to the show. However, few believe this was a voluntary decision. The abrupt nature of her departure, combined with the network's reluctance to provide details, only fueled speculation that Behar had been forced out. With Behar gone, the focus shifted to the future of The View. Would ABC replace her with another outspoken personality? Or would they take a safer, less controversial approach? Whatever their decision, one thing was clear. The View would never be the same again. With Joy Behar officially gone, The View found itself at a major crossroads. Behar had been one of the show's most recognizable figures for years, known for her sharp wit and unfiltered opinions. Whether people loved her or hated her, she was undeniably one of the driving forces behind The View's most talked about moments. Now, ABC was left with a crucial decision. Who, if anyone, could fill the void left by her departure? Industry insiders speculated on what ABC's next move would be. Would they bring in another fiery personality to keep the debates lively? Or would they opt for a more cautious approach to avoid further controversy? Some believe this was an opportunity for The View to reinvent itself, shifting toward a more balanced and less polarizing tone. Others argued that controversy was part of the show's DNA, and replacing Behar with a safer voice might cause the program to lose its edge. Meanwhile, Behar herself remained silent following her departure. Unlike past controversies where she had been quick to defend herself, this time, she disappeared from the spotlight. Was she preparing to make a public statement? Would she return to television in another capacity, perhaps with her own platform? Or was this truly the end of her career in mainstream media? One thing was certain, Behar's exit marked the end of an era for The View, and the impact of her departure would be felt long after the headlines faded. Whether the show could thrive without her, or whether this marked the beginning of its decline, was a question only time would answer. For now, audiences were left to wonder, was this the inevitable fallout of a long-standing career built on controversy? Or was Joy Behar simply the latest victim of an industry that thrives on building up voices only to tear them down when the tides shift?